What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Chill Conversations. Today we have Brenna back in the building. Hey, Brenna.
Hey everybody, it's good to be back on the road to recovery, getting there slowly but surely, but happy to be here tonight.
And I'm glad you're here with us today. We missed you for the past couple of episodes.
Yes, I missed
Um,
you guys too.
so we were just waiting on you to get back. Today we are diving into a topic that's got people choosing sides and probably starting a few arguments too.
I love it though. Can't wait to talk about it.
So we're going to talk about it today. Let's start with this. Imagine your significant other tells you it's me or your best friend. You got to choose one. You can't choose both of us. Um, what would you say?
So, I did a lot of thinking about this whole scenario and situation, thinking about the best friend, thinking about my significant other, and what they both mean to me. And they both should know like how significant of a role like they play in my life. So if I was friends with someone and that friend was like, It's either me or your husband," I don't think that that person is truly my friend because they would know that I was in a happy, healthy relationship, and there's no reason why I would want to give that up. With my spouse or my significant other should know, how important certain friendships are. And, unless my significant other, caught my best friend like doing something shady towards me or doing something bad against me, talking about me or something like that, I don't think I would comply with that choice. I would be like, why would you make me choose?" And I just think that that says something about a person's personality when they try to put ultimatums on you and make you pick and choose sides. And I think a lot of it stems from jealousy. A lot of times people don't want to share. Maybe the best friend is secretly jealous that you're happy in a stable, healthy relationship while their dating life is kind of in all over the place. Or maybe the significant other is jealous of the fact that, you have a friend that you can talk to and communicate with, laugh with, and you guys have a good time together. But maybe that aspect is missing from your relationship. So that's where I would stand on
So,
it.
yes, because I was about to say, what if your best friend says, if we're really friends, you'll choose me over them? Like, what are you just said what you were doing, like it really has to be something meaningful behind that.
Yep.
Um, but what would you said one of the things would be like, unless your significant other calls your best friend, this is not a regular friend, your best friend talking bad about you or something like that. So that
Yeah,
would
they would
cause
literally have to have like ironclad proof and receipts that my best friend was doing something, against me, talking about me negatively, maybe posting something on social media towards me, or even like texting or DMing, my husband or significant other trying to see what's up, that kind of scenario. It would have to be something like that in order for me to be like, "Yeah, I gotta let you go. We're not friends no more."
so would
Um,
it be the same if your best friend knew something about your significant other or saw something? Then
yes, I would need ironclad proof, and I would need receipts, and I would need a very detailed, explanation for why you'd want me to leave this person if you know how much they mean to me. So, if this person knows how much they mean to me, but I mean so much to them and they don't wanna see me get hurt, then I can understand and I can respect that. But just off of I don't want you to be friends with that person anymore, or I don't want you to be with that person, that's not enough reason to just stop a relationship and to end a friendship, in my opinion.
Okay, okay, I get it. Personally, I think the real question here is why are they making you choose in the first place? I think to me that is the first question. I ran into a situation like this before, where I had a very good friend of mine, and in the past, I came into a situation where I was getting back. Well, I was having my ex come back around and stuff like that. And, she basically just said, if he's going to be around, then, I don't want to be around. So that's basically telling me, hey, if you're going to let your ex come back in, then you ain't got to worry about us being friends anymore. Am I right or am I wrong? Because we haven't spoken since.
Wow. Did your did your friend give a reason, or they just made the statement that, "Well, if he's gonna come back around, then you don't have to worry about us being friends?"
Well, at the time in the past, it was a really bad breakup. And what I'm saying currently is like currently we're still not friends, but
Okay, okay.
in the past, um, when I was letting my ex come back around, of course, um, it was a very bad breakup for me and him. So it was for both of us, it was really bad. And I feel like she kind of lean she was brought into the situation somehow, some way, because I feel like people were just getting in the situation, into the breakup without basically nobody calling on them. But, y
Oh, so,
you
like,
know
you guys were going through your stuff. You guys were
yeah,
going through your
like, when
situations.
you break up with somebody and it's a really bad
Yeah,
breakup and
yeah.
names can be called, brought in, yes, I understand. But also, she feels like she went through a lot, with me during that breakup. So for me to bring him back in, it was like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did this or whatever. But my thing was, why am I having to choose whether if he can be around me or not? Because I never understood that. And you know what? I asked my sister this question and I was like, what would you do? And my sister was like, she was just, gave me a straight answer. If your friend is making you choose, you need to reevaluate if that was really your friend in the first place.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I led with, the answer that I did when you first brought up the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what we go through. I don't care how many times we gotta jump in the car at 2 o'clock in the morning and assess the situation or whatever the case may be. I am not gonna hold it against you and hold it over your head, if you choose to resume a relationship and pick up, where you may have left off, or you guys have had time apart, you've had time to cool down and whatever, you reevaluate, the total picture, which is
It
your
was
whole
not even
family.
that though. It was like on some friendly stuff, come back around on some friendly stuff. First of all, I don't hold grudges. I really
Yeah,
don't.
that's just wild to me though. Like, I don't understand why somebody would make you choose. That's not ever something that, that I would do. I don't have that in me that would be able to speak those words like, "Hey, it's you got to either pick him or you got to pick me. Or if you're going to be with him, then you don't have to worry about me being my friend because my friendship is with you, my friendship's not
Right.
with your significant other, I might run into him every once in a while, every, blue moon or whatever, if we're, going to do something or getting together or whatever, if I stop by your house or whatever and he happens to be there and whatnot, and of course I can be polite and cordial or what have you, but I don't have any issues or any problems, with him that would make me say, you have to choose.
And I want to say this because I actually never been in a situation where I have made my friend pick her man over me. I've never been like that because first of all, if my friend, my best friend, my friend, whoever is having issues in their relationship, you could come to me for advice. I'm not saying you can't talk to me, you can't, express yourself to me. I want you to express yourself to me because I'm going to express myself to you. But usually I will stay out of it as far as trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm not that friend that's going to be like, "Oh, you need to leave him. You need to break up with him because he's just girl, no."
Yeah,
Or
that's not me either.
that's
I'm
not
I'm too
me.
I'm too grown for that. I think that happens a lot more in our younger years, like, if you're in your late teens or early 20s, that kind of scenario and
Yes,
situation, but
probably.
where we are right now in life, I just don't think people have that same kind of, like, train of thought. I think they recognize, like, your person is your person, and who you choose to be with is who you choose to be with. It's really none of my business,
But Brenna, you'll
if
be
you
surprised. You'll be surprised because people still do that.
oh,
And the thing about it is now you have gotten into it with their significant other or their friend. And then guess what? Now you're out the picture. You see what I'm
oh my
saying?
gosh, yeah.
So that's why I don't get into family issues either. Okay. I think you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
mute up because we have some echo. But even with family issues, and I'm gonna bring family issues in here. Like if two family members and I'm with you and you're fussing and carrying on with your mother or your dad or your sister or your brother, I'm not getting in that. Baby, that don't have nothing to do with me. Because family is family at the end of the day. And family is gonna come back around and they're gonna squash things and they're gonna be okay and they're gonna be cool the next day. They're gonna be drinking, smoking, and barbecuing. And guess who ain't gonna be in the picture?
Yeah, exactly.
So I
Listen,
stayed out. I stay out of it, baby. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Y'all gonna be okay. Y'all gonna love on each other. Y'all gonna
y
apologize to each other, baby. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm here. I'm listening.
right, but
I'm
I'm not gonna
listening.
but I'll listen, but I'm not gonna insert myself into the situation, trying to dole out advice to this person and that person and putting myself in their business. Like, if you're asking me, my thought, what do I think about a certain situation? And you're asking for my opinion. If you ask me for it, I'm gonna give it to you. But I'm not gonna just volunteer, hey, this is what I think you need to do. This is what you should be doing, because that just causes trouble. And at the end of the day, when everyone's, backed up, loved up, hugged up, and, making plans for the next family reunion and the cookout, and you on the outlet because
And now
inserted yourself.
nobody's talking to you. Now
Yeah,
you can't come to the cookout.
yeah, you don't inserted yourself and they all mad at you now. So
And guess
I'm
what?
not.
Everybody else partying with each other.
Yep.
So that's the point that I'm trying to, get through today. I mean, like me personally, I don't have anything against nobody. Things happen, shit happens, people get mad, and then the next day they get back cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like that love, some people just have that love and hate situation going on. And it's completely, I'm not saying it's not normal, it is. Okay, I go through it myself. I go through it with my friendships, my family. Sometimes I have to come back to the table and say, okay, Dominique, you can't always say other people are doing stuff to you. What are you doing? Okay. So if
Right
it's
there.
something that I have to address and I have to be like, come back to the table, I really don't want to apologize, but and you know what? Sometimes we don't like apologizing, but guess what? It's the best thing to do.
It is the best
It's
thing
the
to
best thing
do.
to do if you love that person and you truly feel like, you can reconcile with a person. Now, if it's violence involved and all that type of, you know, taking hurting people and stuff like, then that's a whole totally different story. I would definitely recommend to stay away. But if it's just a situation about arguing, misunderstanding, people can come to terms on that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
I feel like you can.
They can, and usually, 9 times out of 10, with family dynamics, they've been in that family together, for so long, and however long you've been with your significant other isn't as long as that whole family has been a family unit. So there's certain dynamics and personalities that come into play that
Yes.
you just may not fully understand. So I think it's best, unless you're asked, to just, stay out of it. Let them, come back around each other and, get things back on track when they're ready. Cause they know how they do each other. They know, oh, I just got to give, Aunt Diane a couple of days and she'll be fine. She'll be back talking to cousin Tay Tay, in 2 days. And, they'll be laughing and carrying on and sending each other
And
memes and
drinking
reels
and
and drinking and carrying on
barbecuing.
and going over there for dinner. So, it'll be fine. Just stay out of it.
And I want y'all to be honest. Don't give the politically correct answer, okay? Put yourself in that situation and tell us, what would you do? Tell us what you would do. Tell us in the comments. I know some of y'all are tuning in tonight. I don't see any comments recently. So just put it in the comments. What would you do? Are
Yeah,
you
I'm
choosing your
curious.
partner? Are you choosing your best friend? Or are you walking away from whoever gave you the ultimatum? Right? Because why? Like,
Exactly.
your best friend can make you happy too. You
Mhm.
have friends that make you happy too. You have your significant other that makes you happy too. So why tell somebody, hey, it's either me or them?
Especially with the whole, like, best friend situation, your best friend should really know the ins and outs of you, and you guys have probably gone through a lot of things together and, seen some high highs and low lows and been there for each other through different situations and circumstances. But to reach a point where, a best friend is gonna give you an ultimatum, it's either him or me, to me, that's really drastic and it's really dramatic. And I wouldn't expect that to be said unless there's, a specific reason, unless your friend, that's your best friend, has a sister and, the sister told the friend, hey, I know you're friends with so and so, but, I was with her husband last night. Something like that would need to be brought to my attention, not just
Well,
choose.
but that's just hear she say,
Yeah,
though.
true.
If I don't see nothing with my own eyes, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
If I don't see anything with my own eyes, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying what I hear or say or hear this, hear that. I mean, I can say it, but again, like I said on the podcast about remember when we had would you tell your best friend?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, would you tell your best friend if her man is cheating on her? I
Mhm.
wouldn't just say that if I hear a rumor because
Right.
my thing is what if these two people been together for like 20 plus years?
Right.
And I'm just walking in and I'm saying, well, I heard that your man was here with her. And I'm just like, I'm totally ruining a lifetime relationship. I would feel
Yeah.
so bad to do that, and it turns out to be a lie.
Right.
Like, I would feel bad as F you, for real. Like,
Yep.
I would feel bad because I'm literally, like, saying something that I don't even know if it's true or not because I didn't even see it with my own eyes. Now, if I saw it with my own eyes, then that's and I heard it with my own ears from the horse's mouth, then that's a totally different story.
Right.
But you have to be very careful, in my opinion. Everybody got their own opinion, but you just got to be very careful when it comes to she say, he say. Some people don't want to see some people together. And
That's
that's the
that's
best
that's very true. Yeah,
and
that's
that's the
that's
best to me, that's the best way to get break a relationship up where with he say she say for to be very easy to do that. And I don't want to cause anybody that type of pain.
right.
I think it's very, something like you would do in your younger years, like kiddish, childish kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Um, what if your best friend has been there for 20 years and you're 2 years in your relationship with your significant other? What if your partner is the person you plan to spend the rest of your life with, though? Does that change the answer?
I don't think necessarily that my answer would change. It's really about the dynamics. And, if I'm 20 years in with my best friend, I'm 2 years in with my significant other, but apparently I chose my significant other, for a reason.
Yes.
And those reasons should be valid and matter, to my friend.
Mhm.
I wouldn't expect my friend to give me an ultimatum. It's either them or me. Like, baby, if you had a problem with me getting with this man, you should have said something from the beginning. You should have started voicing your concerns like from the beginning. And then I would have been, giving her, a little side eye, like wondering, like, well, what does she have against this man? Like, why does she not want me to be with him? Like, is it because he's making me happy? And the only time that we had good times together was when we were both, on the single path and, I could hit the club with her. We could go here, we could go there, we could take trips and do all this stuff together. And now our dynamic has changed a bit because I have a significant other in my life. So we don't get to spend as much time together as we used to. I mean, is that, something that is going on here?
And like you said, Brenda, it could be jealousy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, out of all these years, you just now having issues of me being with this man. I totally get it. I think sometimes people do feel kind of jealous of other people's lives. And you do have those people that, will to them become an issue, a problem. And I'm not saying jealousy in a bad way. Sometimes, I mean, jealousy is not healthy. We know that. But, you know, some people don't even notice it. Their relationship might have totally crashed. Their relationship might have totally came down crumbling on their heads.
Right, right.
And
Crashed
then
and
just
burned.
exactly. And then just to see, someone else close to them that's definitely having the time of their life in their relationship, that might trigger them to be jealous and
Right.
want you to be in the same position as them. That's why some
Mhm.
women, we say, well, some men on social media, they even say it, they're like, why are you taking advice for uh, I don't want my woman taking advice from single women because they don't have a man.
Yeah, a lot of men feel that way. Or they say that, "Oh, you're still friends with that girl, like, she's miserable, like, she don't have a man yet," and that kinda stuff, like, don't listen to what she has to say. I've seen situations like that and have been around those types of scenarios, so I know that that exists and it does happen more often than we'd like to, think that it does, but yeah, it absolutely happens.
Absolutely. And this is definitely one of those topics where there isn't a wrong or right answer, y'all. It's really not.
Nope.
It's really just your own personal opinion and what would
Yep,
you do, right?
and what
Because
works best for you.
exactly, it's like what would you do? What do you think it's the right thing to do? Um, but there will be some strong opinions on this. And this is one of those topics where it's like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this because I want to know. I've been there. I've been there. I experienced that. Until this day, I love my friends. I love like all the people that are around me, and I want to keep everybody around me.
Yep.
So I take everything like I don't take things to the third degree when it comes to people around me because I want to keep them in my life. Whether
Right,
that is
right.
my friend, my a- anyone, that's around me that's currently in my life. I take those things like if we have an argument, if we have a misunderstanding, I always like to come back to the table because I'm not trying to lose, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
especially if it's something that I did personally.
right.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And Brenna, do you have any final thoughts?
Again, I would just say, make the best choice that is for you. Don't go by, just because you think it's the right answer or that's what people want to hear. You have to make a decision that's best for you. And if you want to stand up for the person that you care about, if you want to stand up for your friend because your significant other is making demands or vice versa, then, then go ahead and do that, but again, when it comes down to being placed in this position, which is it's an unfortunate position to be placed in, at the end of the day, we're not in your relationship or your friendship, so you have to make that call and you have to make the choice that's going to work out best for you, what's going to make you most happiest in the end.
Absolutely. And my son is trying to get me to take him to McDonald's. But his mama will. But, I feel like you can, do whatever you please to do. Is your relationship either if it's with your man or your best friend, you know? I like to see people happy. So by all means, if this man is making you happy, friend, I got your back.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, you can hear an opinion. It's nothing wrong with giving an opinion. That's just your opinion. But I'm
Yep.
still gonna support my friend regardless whether she want to be with this man or not.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we are gonna be cool. And
Yep.
if we not, then it's okay too. I'm
That's
still gonna
fine as
support my
well.
friend. So I want to see my friend happy anyway. I want to see, you know, my significant other happy. So I
Yep.
mean, whatever the case may be, it's just I like to see people happy. So
Exactly.
I'm not gonna be doing all that. But anyway, again, as long as it's nothing that somebody is being beaten or you know, violence is involved, then I don't see the issue. I don't see the issue of why telling people to stop being friends with somebody or stop being with somebody. If that's who makes them happy, if that's how, you know, if they love their friend, if they love their significant other, I don't see an issue. All right, y'all. Peace out, and we'll be with y'all next Sunday. Thank you
See
for
y'all next
tuning in.
Sunday. Good night.
Good night. Bye.